Hello guys, and welcome to episode 4 of my Vlogmas. Now, I did say 25 lists in 25 days. That is slightly incorrect because I'm going to be uploading my usual schedule. So it's probably going to drag out to about New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but I'm sure you guys won't have a problem with that. So we will be doing the 25 list. So we're going to go ahead and look at the 82nd Airborne, and we're going to focus on the box set that was released from Flames of War recently, or Battlefront. This is a box set that is chockers full of parachute infantry and equipment. So we're going to look at how we can build this. So let's go ahead and find our force. So we're going to go to new force, and we're going to go to American D-Day. You can do Bulge, but I'm going to do D-Day for this one. Now there is the two options of the parachute rifle company or the glider rifle company. Glider rifles are going to have a little worse rating compared to their parachute cousins. If we have a look at the parachute rifle company now, just quickly, you can see that their stats are 3+, so their motivation is 3+, their skill is 3+, and they'll hit on a 4+, infantry save on a 3+. That's just the standard. And then if we go to the glider rifle platoon, because I don't have access to the company, you can see that the stats are 4+ for their motivation. They do rally on a 3+, their skill is a 4+, and they'll hit on a 3+. So yeah, not as good as those in the parachute company. So we're going to do the parachute company because why not? So we're going to go ahead and hit the company HQ. So for 2 Thompsons, it's going to cost us 3 points. It's pretty expensive what you're getting, but we've already read out the stats. The Thompson is a rate of fire of 3, so it's just your typical SMG. You're only going to be using it at 4 inches. Other than that, these guys are just your HQ, so you don't want them dying. Now let's have a look at what we're dealing with. So the parachute rifle platoon consists of 7 stands. It's also got 1 mortar, 2 bazookas, and 2 LMG. So they are really stocking these up. So we can see we've got 7 stands, 1 mortar, 1 bazooka. So we need to add an additional bazooka, and then we need to add 2 LMGs for 1 point each, which is actually really cost effective. If we have a look at those stats, so they are an M19 and M1 Grand rifle team, so they've got a halted rate of fire of 2 and a moving rate of fire of 1. That's again standard, but with that optional LMG, you then have an additional 2 stands, so 10 dice if you're not moving, rate of fire of 5. Same range though, which is interesting, both 16 inches. And obviously the anti-tank is lackluster, but we do have access to a bazooka plus an additional bazooka. So we've got 2 bazookas in this, and they have an anti-tank of 10, which is very nice indeed for a bazooka, and they have an anti-tank, a firepower of 5+. So you're going to be after me rolling some pretty lucky dice, but it's definitely possible. Then we have that 60mm mortar, anti-tank of 1 and a firepower of 4+, but anytime you've got a mortar, it's always handy to help with helping to pin enemy infantry. So yeah, very, very nice, and looks like it's going to be very expensive, which it is. It's 17 points. Now I do believe that there was 2 of these, so we're going to go ahead and add another one of these. I'm not going to go through the stats again because we've already talked about it and I'd be boring you guys to tears. Now, let's have a look what else they have. So they have 81mm mortar platoon, they have a 75mm battery, and a 57mm anti-tank platoon, and a Jeep recon platoon. So it looks like they have got the full complement in there as well. So we've got 4 mortars for 8 points. Very expensive guys, but the point costly due to their stats. Again, these are veterans. These guys are fearless. They obviously the 82nd Airborne has already seen quite a lot of action, so you would expect these stats. They do ring true. So they can fire a smoke bombardment. They've got a range of 40mm, so their mortar's just slightly better than the one in the infantry platoon. It's 81mm mortar, still their anti-tank of 1 and the firepower of 4+. But yeah, the stats remain the same there. Obviously with the assault, they assault on a 4+, which is still not too bad considering they're veteran at 3+. But I just want to confirm that I've just said that right. It was 81mm, and then we've got the 60mm. Yes, okay, cool. So we go 81mm. There was 4 of those. We can hit save and return to formation. Then they've got the 75mm artillery battery. So 4. I'm not a fan of the 75mm artillery in Flames of War. It is what it's there for in terms of it's a very light gun. It's what the British Airborne would have used. It's what the US Airborne would have used. It's something to get artillery on the ground, do counter battery fire, and obviously try and get some enemy pins. So the stats are exactly the same as what we've already done. Fearless 3+, skill 3+, hit on a 4+, but their anti-tank is slightly better than the mortar. It's 2 opposed to 1. Again, the firepower is a 4+. You get smoke with these, which is always handy. Smoke's very good, especially for an infantry based list. They can direct fire, so worst case scenario you can use these as like an AT, but they've got a pretty poor rating. I mean, and 86 you're going to be struggling to really. The only thing they're really going to be good against is like really light reconnaissance vehicles or half tracks, but firepower 3+, so that's not too bad, and they can still fire smoke direct, which is great. So with that selected, we also have the 4 57mm guns. So they've got an anti-tank of 10 and a firepower of 4+, no HE. So you're going to be able to use these against enemy tanks, which is it's frustrating. Like the Pack 40, you can just go and use it against anything, I'm pretty sure. So again, the stats are really good though. Motivation 3+, veteran 3+, and hit on a 4+. It also has a gun shield. A gun shield acts as bulletproof cover, so when you're shot at from the front, so front facing, if you're being shot at the front of the base, that gun shield acts as bulletproof cover, which is very handy. So that's our guns selected. So you can see they don't have anything that's like super great in terms of anti-tank or like real good firepower. I mean, anti-tank 10 is still good. It's going to deal with Panzer IVs, it's going to deal with Hetzers, it's going to deal with Stugs, but then we're going to start really struggling with Tigers, we're going to start struggling with Panthers, Panzer 470s, anything like that. And if you get some RT on these, the gun shield isn't going to save you from that, so you've got to take that into consideration. So if we return to formation now, we do get to add some Jeeps to the fray. So we go the Airborne Jeep platoon, 4 Jeeps for 4 points, so it's a point a Jeep. I was about to say $1 a Jeep. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Motivation of 3+. They're a scout, so their last stand of 4+, and they're a veteran 3+. They're hit on a 4+. Unarmored tank team is a 4+ save. Their 50 cals actually aren't too bad. Anti-tank of 4 and firepower of 5+. So the anti-tank of 4 is really nice. Well, I mean, it's not great, but it's better than your typical sort of MG42 or Brain Gun, Lewis gun sort of situation, Vickers gun. The 50 cal is much better than that. So this Airborne Jeep Reconnaissance Patrol comes with Scout and Spearhead. So I believe I was getting it confused in a couple of previous videos. Bearing in mind, I only game once or twice a year. So Scout is that the unit axe has gone to ground unless you start shooting or your assault, and then that Spearhead is where you get that 4 inches of movement. I believe it's 4 inches. No, it's 8 inches. I just had to confirm that, so I just went and looked at my book. It is 8 inches. I want to start giving you guys a bit more accurate information. So I've got my rulebook here, my trusty rulebook. So yes, it is 8 inches. So there you go. That's what you're getting with those. So already we've got 67 points, and it doesn't look like much, guys. Like, they are really strong indeed. And I've played a very similar list against a friend of mine using the British Airborne, with very similar sort of with a very similar sort of company, and did well. So just because it doesn't look like much, their stats really do help. They are really, really good. So we've got 67 points. What on earth are we going to do with the rest of the points now? Because it's 82nd Airborne, I want to theme it around Market Garden, because if you know me, I'm obsessed with Market Garden. So I'm gonna go, and obviously treating it airborne, so we're not looking at the priests and the greyhounds, and because it's Market Garden as well, we need British stuff. I might throw in an aircraft. Let's have a look at the P-47 Thunderbolt. So you get 2 P-47s for 9 points. They're motivation of 4, skill 4, hit on 5, and they save in a 3+. But this is what we like. 50 cal MG, so they got rate of fire of 4, anti-tank of 5, and firepower of 5+. Okay, that's not too bad. 500-pound bombs. They've got an AT of 3, a firepower of 2, and then they've got their HVAR rockets, artillery, anti-tank 5 and a firepower of 4+. Rockets and bombs hit on top armor, if I'm not mistaken. So that anti-tank of 5 on the top armor of a tank is bloody brilliant. This might be what we need to deter those tigers and panthers. So yeah, actually I'm going to throw them in. I think it was the RAF that was supporting 30 Corps and the rest of the airborne element, but I'm not too sure if the US Air Force were, but I'm going to throw them in anyway because the Typhoons would have had rockets, so let's just put them in there. So for 76 points, we've still got a little bit to play with. I want to throw in some Sherman, some British Sherman. So we're going to go down, right down to the bottom. You may field one unit as an allied unit. You can field a formation, but there is no way we're going to get a formation in. So Sherman armored troop. I'm just trying to remember which actual armored troop I've paid for. I think it's this one. Here we go. So we can either select 3 Shermans with 1 Firefly for 17 points. Oh wow, they're actually quite cheap. Or 1 Sherman and 2 Shermans and 1 Firefly. No, we want 4. Whenever you're getting medium tanks, it's not worth taking 3 in my opinion. The extra tank can be the difference between your platoon or troop running away and sticking around. You don't normally lose more than 2 in a one-on-one sort of engagement, 1 platoon on 1 platoon, unless you're very unlucky. I mean, we all roll unlucky dice, but it's you normally lose 2, or you'll get 1 bail and 1 destroyed sort of situation. So the additional 1 just helps you make sure that unit doesn't run away. So they're motivated, they're trained, and they are hit on a 4+. The front armor of 6 for a Sherman, side of 4 and top of 1. So obviously you don't want any side shots, front as well if you can avoid it, because most the Panzer IV, the Stugs, now are going to do damage. So God only knows those Panthers only have to roll a successful dice to hit. They're going to penetrate straight away. So the Sherman has 75mm weapon on it, rate of fire of 2 when moving, anti-tank of 10 and firepower of 3+. But the Firefly has an AT of 14, but it has no HE, firepower of 3+, no HE though. So this is only a tank killer or a vehicle killer, alright? Everything else is the same, but they do have the protected ammo. So if your Firefly is hit and is bailed, you're not remounting on a 4+, you're remounting on a 3+, which is lovely. That just helps. You just don't want to make sure you don't roll a 1 and a 2. So with them selected, we now go to 93 points. So we do have 7 points to play with. So let's just have a quick look what we've got thus far. So we've got the HQ, we've got 2 platoons of hardcore infantry. We've got those 81mm mortars, we've got our artillery, we've got our anti-tank, we've got our thunderbolts coming in, remembering that planes come in on a 4+, so you're gonna have to be rolling well, but yeah, they do come in on a 4+. And we've got the Shermans, the British Allied unit. Is there anything else that we can take infantry related? Now we could take a glider rifle platoon. No, we couldn't. They're 8 points. We can't take that one. Let's go back. Let's see what else we can cram in here. 11 points. Oh, I didn't select the Jeep. Here we go. Well, that's where we've gone wrong. So 4 points there. Okay, so we only have 3 points to play with. I'd be inclined to... I wonder how much... Oh, mate. 1 Jeep and 1 Jeep 60mm. Oh, that's pretty cool. 60mm mortar on the Jeep. But again, that's not British. Okay, this is where I would use command cards. So D-Day American command cards. Let's have a look at what we could throw in there. So we've got Turner, Turnbull, Maxwell Taylor, James Gavin, Julian Cook. Are any of those on there? So Turner, Turnbull. So replace your Thunderbolt rocket with 1,000-pound bombs. Let's have a look at 2,000-pound bombs. Replace your Thunderbolt using the following characteristics. So you get anti-tank of 4, but a firepower of 2+. Oh, no penalty for having only 1 or 2 weapons firing. Oh, that is interesting. For one, you either get AT of 5, but a firepower of 4 plus, wasn't it? Or you get an AT of 4 but firepower of 2 plus against top armor of Tigers, and I think Tigers is top armor of 1 or 2. No, we'll keep it as that. Turn. But what do we get here? 3 points. M19 M1 Grand Rifle Division may reroll any failed hit rolls when conducting defensive fire. It's a good anti-assault sort of card. Sticky bombs. I do like some sticky bombs. Disguise card to give infantry in this unit anti-tank 3 and 5 against top armor and assaults. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So we'll get one of those, and then we'll go. So that's just giving our infantry team more protection against tanks, especially because they're so hardcore. You want to be assaulting with these guys, and then a command card of lucky, because we might need desperately to roll that aircraft to come on. It might fail, so we might roll with this lucky card. We might be able to recall in the aircraft. So say we roll a 3 and we need a 4, we can then whip out this lucky card and be like, actually, I can re-roll any 1 die. And hoping that aircraft's going to come in. So now let's have a final look at this 82nd Airborne list for Market Garden using the 82nd Airborne set that you can get on Battlefront's website. The rules, if you're playing along with this, is you cannot change what they've got in this list. You have to use everything on here, okay, which is tricky. Obviously, if you make it into like a glider company, then that might be a bit better in terms of the points spread out. So we've got that HQ, we've got 2 platoons worth of infantry, they've got 7 stands of those M19, 19 and M1 Grand Rifle teams, they've got a 60mm mortar, they've got 2 bazookas, and they also have 2 additional LMG teams in both of those rifle platoons. And we've got 4 stands of 81mm mortars, so they are going to be putting down some support for those rifle platoons. Then we've got the artillery battery that's also going to be helping to pin. So you've got 2 batteries of artillery that you're going to be able to use to pin down enemy infantry, and then you're going to be able to assault them. As soon as you assault them with these guys, they are going to be mincemeat because the stats on these guys are great. We've got that anti-tank barrier using the 57mm anti-tank platoon, but it's not a heavy hitting anti-tank platoon. Remember that this is what you're going to be used as a medium sort of anti-tank deterrent. Then we've got those airborne jeep recon platoons that are going to give us that 8 inches of additional space to deploy, as well as that gone to ground rating. Then we've got the 2 P-47s that are going to be coming in, that are going to be taking out those big enemy vehicles, so your Tigers and your Panthers. And then we've got our good old British drinking their tea, coming in on the Shermans, and they're coming in with their additional Firefly for just that extra hard-hitting 17-pounder that's going to be able to deal with those Tigers as well. So yeah, this was fun. We've got the sticky bombs on there. Sorry, I forgot about those, and the card lucky. So we really got 1 round of sticky bombs. So you can only use them once, so make sure you're using them wisely. Don't waste them on something that your AT can deal with. Waste them, or use it. Don't waste it. Use it on something that's heavy. So if you can manage to maybe sneak up on a couple of Tigers or King Tigers or something, then use those sticky bombs. I don't know what the top rating of a King Tiger is, but say you're just a Tiger. You can use those sticky bombs to good effect. But yeah, really interesting. The rating of these make it tricky, but these are a really good rated force. It's going to be really tricky to deal with. And even if you've got coming up against a Panzer force, the stats on these is going to make them really difficult to dislodge if you're in a defensive sort of game. Talking about defensive, what would we do if we had to put 40 points off the table? It's pretty obvious to me, actually, just looking at it. You would go the Shermans, and you would go a platoon of infantry. That would give us, what's that, 17, 34, and then you would just have to pick some else. You could even take the mortars off if you wanted to. That would then take you up to 42 points. So yeah, you can mess around with it. Yeah, actually, I don't know how. Let me know in the comments, guys, for those that, if you're new, if you're an existing player, how does it work with the command cards? Because that command card gets put onto an infantry platoon, I'm assuming that goes to 19. So yeah, actually, that's how it would work. So you get 19 points for one of them, and then 17 on top of that. So yeah, you can play with that. that will probably make it a little bit easier to come up with what you want off in defense. But yeah, this is one of those lists where you could probably use a sort of balance. You could either go on the attack or on the defensive, depending on what you're coming up against. But yeah, this has been fun, guys. Let me know below if you've enjoyed it and what you'll be doing with this, how you will tweak this list. Huge thank you goes out to my Patreons and YouTube channel members. Videos like this wouldn't be possible without your support. Special mention goes out to Oscar and Patrick for being those Panzer Aces. Hopefully the P-47s don't deal with you guys like I'm hoping that they would do with the rest of the Panzers around and Panthers. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here, guys, and I will catch you at the next one.